When Ann and I first got married, we were missionaries working with athletes at the University of Nebraska. Any Cornhuskers? Yeah, I didn't think so. One?
Oh, over here.
So we're driving from Findlay, Ohio. Ever heard of Findlay? Don't think so. Yeah, to Lincoln, Nebraska. And some of you remember the story. I just give you the Cliff Note version. We get in a fight. It gets escalated. We never get in fights. Have you ever heard us talk about getting in a fight?
No.
Yeah, so we are screaming at each other. And tell them what you said.
We'd been married 6 months, and I looked at Dave at that day. We were driving, and as he's driving, I looked at him and said, "This was the biggest mistake of my life. I should never have married you."
Exact words. And I said, "You're right. We're done." I pulled off the highway. We got into a CVS, started walking around. I couldn't stand to be in a car with her. And we were in the biggest fight of our lives 6 months into our marriage. You believe it? Yes. Yeah, I mean, 6 months before that, I would have told you there's no way she will ever say that, I will ever say that. By the way, we made it. And we made a vow we'd never say those words again. I wish I'd never married you, or I want to divorce you. We've never said it in 33 years since. But here's the reason I give you a snapshot back to that picture. At that moment, our marriage was struggling, and I would have told you without a single doubt in my mind, the problem with our marriage is her. No thought, I guarantee you, the problem with our marriage is not me, it's her.
And I thought the exact opposite. I thought the problem with our marriage is definitely not me. If Dave would get his act together, we would be okay. So the problem was him.
And what we said to you yesterday and what we've learned is, guess what the problem with our marriage is? Me. I'm the problem with our marriage. And she better be saying the same thing, by the way.
I'd say me.
But, I mean, that is the truth. David talked about it last night. We are wretched sinners. That is our core DNA. That's our human condition. We bring that into marriage, and it's a problem. And I could not see that for years. I was always trying to change her, always trying to fix her, rarely ever looking in the mirror to say, what is wrong with me? And I realize now, if there's a problem in our marriage, it is me, and I'm the one that needs to get fixed.
And we find so often as we do these conferences, people will come up to us, and especially the wives will say to me, "Oh, I just hope my husband heard that, because he needs it so much." And we listen for other people instead of saying, "God, what are you saying to me today specifically?"
Some of you heard this story a few years ago, but she would often tell me in our first year of marriage that I didn't like conflict, that I would resist conflict. I'm like, I don't resist conflict. What are you talking about? She goes, "You often leave the room when we get in a conflict." I'm like, "No, I don't." So we get in a fight. We're in Findlay, Ohio. We're missionaries. We're raising support to go on staff with Athletes in Action. Her whole family's gone. We're living at her parents' house. The windows are open. We get in a fight in the family room, and I get up and start walking out. Again, I have not even thought about what she had told me previously. I just do what I do. I start walking out of the room. And she yells at me from the room as I'm going through the kitchen.
And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, are you really walking out again? But I don't say that. I say, are you walking out of the room again? Come back and fight like a man, you chicken.
So I'm in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. I hear her say that. I turn around, and I didn't know what to say. So I go, "Oh, yeah, well, bleep you." I know you can't believe I cursed, but I cursed. And I left. Like, that's what a man does. I just told her what she needed to hear, and I start leaving. As I'm walking through the kitchen, she yells back, "Oh, yeah, well, bleep, bleep you." I've never heard my wife in my life curse. I turn around, I'm like, oh. I remember that? I was just like, oh my gosh, you just cursed. And then I just took off.
Of course, all the windows are open. All our neighbors are hearing the young missionary couple. It's just like, oh my gosh.
So we literally go up the stairs to her bedroom that she grew up in. I sit on the bed. I had closed the door. She kicks open the door, sits down beside me, and she's like, "We got to talk. We got to work this out. This is what couples do. We work out conflict." I'm sitting there. I'm so uncomfortable. Because I don't think I've ever done this in my life. I ran from conflict. Why? A lot of reasons. I can make excuses, but I had two alcoholic parents who, whenever they fought, they yelled and screamed and hit each other, and it was bad, and it ended very badly. So I just thought, that's what conflict is. You run from it. Here I am married, and guess what God had given me? A chisel to sharpen me to become like Jesus. I could